Hi friends! Today I'm going to show you a few ideas for how to make your own adventure capes. And this activity is inspired by the book Flyaway Katie by Polly Dunbar. And of course, if you haven't had a chance to read the book yet, go ahead and pause now and then get back to me in a minute because yeah, it's a really great book, and it's a great book to read when you're having a gray day. Okay, so just like in the book, you remember that Katie kept putting on more colorful clothes to cheer herself up and get herself ready to the point where she finally jumps into the painting, into her imagination, and really starts to have a great adventure. So that's kind of like what we want to do with these capes. We want to make them as colorful and as fun as possible, so you can just pop them on and use them to imagine all kinds of fun things. So the first step in the activity is actually going to be getting the supplies, getting the materials ready to go. And you're going to want a parent or family member's help with this because there are a couple of different ways to go depending on what things you have at home and what things you have available at your disposal. So go ahead and get a parent or family member and have them, if they're not already watching the video with you right now, have them watch this next portion of the video with you. Okay, so there's going to be two different ways that you can decorate your adventure capes, but no matter which way you choose, you're going to need a white cloth or white material to color. So it can be a pillowcase like this one is. It can be a white sheet, it can be a long sleeve white t-shirt, it can even be a white towel. You're just looking for any material that you are okay with not getting back. It's going to get messy and it's not going to go back to white. And anything that will fit around your child's neck or just will fit around their shoulders and make like a nice kind of fun long cape. So that's step number one. Go ahead and get a white material that you can color, and we'll go ahead and start talking about options for decorating after. Okay, so the first option for decorating the adventure capes is to use kind of a tie-dye approach. And just kind of assuming that most of you guys don't have an extra tie-dye kit laying around, we're going to go ahead and try to use some food coloring to substitute, but I will show you how to do the traditional kind of tie-dye swirl as you wrap up the material and rubber band it. So you're going to need a few things to do this activity. I wanted to mention that if you don't have some of the materials, you might want to go ahead and skip down to the hyperlink in the descriptions below, because I'm going to review how to decorate your adventure cape using just a painty, fun, freeform approach too. So, but if you are doing the tie-dye approach, here's the list of materials. Go ahead and grab them and come right back. Okay, so to do the tie-dye twist, you basically just need to be able to lay your material on a flat surface, and you're going to want rubber bands, or in this case I have hair twisties for when it comes time to wrap it. And essentially you're going to start in the middle, and you're going to go ahead and just twist it clockwise, and just keep twisting and twisting and twisting and gathering your ends there, tucking them in if you can. This is maybe my second time ever doing this, so I'm not really a professional, but you do want everything kind of tucked in before you kind of smush it together, and then you're gonna take your ties and you're gonna secure it from the middle, and then every other tie you do, well, I'm not sure what that guy's gonna do, he'll just hang out there. Every other tie you do is supposed to cross off the middle section, so you're intersecting the middle at each point. So here's a tie here. I'm pretty sure when I tried this the first time it wound up better, but that's okay. So you can intersect there, and I have it in a good bunch. I could stop there, but you know, maybe to get a little more of a tie-dye effect, I want to keep going. That seems like plenty. So I'm going to stop here and move on to mixing the dyes and dipping the dyes. So now that your material is all twisted up and rubber banded, we can go ahead to the part where we're adding color. And I wanted to show you guys a couple of different methods because I'm not really sure which one is going to work best, but in the larger containers, you can see in this one I have purple, this one blue, but whatever your color, I was thinking in the larger containers we could dip dye, and then in this small champagne flute I have green. I was thinking maybe to pour some of the dye on, and then of course to top things off, what would an adventure cape be without bright fluorescent pink? And I was hoping to kind of spray that on. Of course this can all get pretty messy, so I recommend maybe having like a bin or something that you can put down so that you're not getting food coloring all over the place. Or you could just do it outside and not worry about it. So I think first up, I'm gonna go ahead and do some dipping in the purple. If this fits in there. There we go. And I made sure to make the food coloring really, really potent. So I added a lot of food coloring and not a whole lot of water. So there's my purple, that is super rich. This is the blue, so I'll go ahead and dip another side in blue. It's a good thing I have that bin. And yeah, I'm gonna pour some here. I'll try to hold it up so you can see. Pour some green on. And I'm assuming like the goal is probably just to cover as much white as you can with this tie-dyeing approach. Again, I am not a master at tie-dye. I usually have Miss Sandra do the tie-dyes for me when we do the parade. She's the tie-dye master, but we're giving it our best shot. And finally, just gonna spray. Hopefully it works. I don't know that. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna spray the rest of the spots. Oh my gosh. I think maybe I needed like a protective like shield guard. It's even kind of getting on my face, so I'm gonna spray the rest of the pink. And then in this case, as you would with regular tie-dye, you're gonna want to go ahead and let this dry before you unravel it and see what kind of creation you make. So I will show a picture of that, I assume, at the end of the video. So have fun, experiment, dip, dye, pour, spray, whatever you have available, whatever seems fun. Just remember, it can be quite a mess, so prepare for that. And obviously this is something the kiddos can do themselves, so make sure you get them involved, and I'm sure all this will come out in the tubby, right? Next up, I'm going to show some inspiration for how to make an adventure cape using paint and kind of like a drippy paint effect that will hopefully be just as fun as this tie-dyeing adventure. Okay, so moving on to option 2, that is, instead of tie-dyeing your adventure cape, you can use a more painty approach. And I'm going to go ahead and list the materials in a second. You'll notice that They're pretty much basic painting materials, but I also wanted to throw in some non-traditional painting materials because this is just a fun opportunity to get really funky and creative with the adventure capes. So go ahead and pause with the material list, see what you can gather up. If you have other ideas for different ways to apply paint, fish them out, and I will see you guys in a sec. So before I get into some fun painting techniques, I just wanted to show you guys the different palettes that I made, and this is a fun thing to do for your kiddo too, because it's almost like a no-fail color combination. And this is what you would call a cool color palette. So think about like colors you would see under the water, like under the sea if you were swimming. So blues, greens, purples. And then this is a warm color palette. So like if you were looking at the sun, hopefully not directly, yeah, yellows and reds and oranges and pinks. Those are all warm colors. And these are options for if your child's getting frustrated when they paint and their colors are mixing together and looking like mud. You can always break them into like a warm color palette and just have them paint with a warm color palette or a cool color palette. I'm going to use both because just for fun, but again, if I were to mix a lot of the colors into here, I would probably get like a brown. So just something to keep in mind. It's a little bit of color theory just for fun. And yeah, we're going to start with the sponge. You can do a dry sponge, or if you want a kind of more fluid approach, you could wet the sponge first, but it's like a printmaking kind of approach. So, and then I just stamp it. And that's looking pretty awesome. So that's one thing you can do. Moving on to the old fork method. So just combine some colors, fork, and fork out, make like a design, stripes. Or you can go by individual colors, use a paintbrush and, you know, do some pink lines or big sections of pink, some swirls, whatever strikes their fancy. Finally, I think I'll just try and see if there's anything fun I can do with the chopsticks here. Something unique. So, good opportunity. You can just get in there, like maybe make a marbled approach or lay it out like a swipe of color. That's pretty cool too. Old credit cards or cards are good also for like swiping color across. One other thing, if you have paint that like has squirts, they can kind of just squirt some paint around. Whatever inspires them, whatever they're into. It's their adventure cape. You know, it's supposed to be full of color, it's supposed to be lots of fun, and obviously a great time to experiment and try new things out. So I'm going to leave you there with the paint cape. Have fun, have painty adventures, and yeah, enjoy making a cape. So I'll show you guys some pictures of what I've got at the end of all this and wrap it up in a sec. Alright friends, so as promised, here are the finished pictures of my adventure capes, the tie-dye one and the painty one. Ta-da! I hope you really enjoyed making your own capes and that you continue experimenting with different ways to get funky with paint and with color and costuming and using your imagination. And I look forward to the next time we meet. See you soon. Bye.